video, I'm going to show you the most simple system that I can possibly fathom that still incorporates everything that I like to look for before placing a trade. I'm going to start with a full breakdown of the system, then I'll go over the settings and show you how I traded this system in the live markets with some live trade examples. The questions that I get asked the most is what would be my favorite indicator or where would be the best place to start. So it's kind of impossible to just pick one favorite indicator. I've got about 20 different trade setups that I'm always looking for, and there's just a lot of factors that I like to keep track of when I'm trading, like volume, volatility, time of day, order flow, support and resistance, price action. That's just how I trade. But as far as the MMT indicators go, I've got the ultimate delta on my chart. I always want to be trading with some kind of delta or order flow information on my charts. And then the key levels. I definitely would not want to trade without the key levels on my chart. And some of these levels you can get with the built-in NinjaTrader indicator, like yesterday's open, high, low, and close. But there's a lot of special features on the key levels that I would not want to have to trade without. And I really do love the Heikin Ashi. So I've got the MMT Ultimate Heikin Ashi on the chart. And it's painting the candlesticks on all four charts that you see. And then the bonus indicator that I've got on here is the Ultimate POC that shows the point of control of each candlestick. I really find this helpful for looking for trapped traders. So I'm calling this the Heikin Ashi and Delta chart setup. I will also go over the settings later on in the video. So we've got the candlesticks being painted by the MMT Ultimate Heikin Ashi. When the candles are green, that means there is a green Heikin Ashi candle. When the candles are red, that means there is a red Heikin Ashi candle. And then those colors are applied to the regular candlesticks. I like seeing the price action on the regular candlesticks, but I like how the Heikin Ashi candles are calculated. So this way I can see both at the same time, both the Heikin Ashi and the regular candlesticks. On the 1 minute chart, I've got per bar delta from the Ultimate Delta. And on the 5 minute charts, I've got cumulative delta, also from the MMT Ultimate Delta indicator. And then I've also got some single bar divergence that's activated. You can see these white outlines on the candles. This is when single bar delta divergence appears. For instance, we have an up candle here, but some negative delta. And on this candle, we have a down candle, but we have some positive delta. And then I am using the MMT Ultimate VWAP. There's a lot of features on the MMT Ultimate VWAP that I have not seen on other indicators. It's got a custom range VWAP, a time anchored VWAP, and then it's also got previous day VWAP closes. These blue dashed lines, those are previous day VWAP closes. They are very effective key levels, as you might have seen in some of my other videos. I've also got some NINZA indicators on here, like the innovative ordering chart buttons and their bar status timer. And then over on the 60-minute chart, I've got their daily session market profile. But the three things I'm going to focus on with this system are delta, the key levels, and the Heikin Ashi. Obviously with the Heikin Ashi, I want to see some red if I'm going short, and I want to see some green if I'm going long. And I'm checking out the higher time frames like the 5-minute charts and the 60-minute chart. On the cumulative delta, I'm looking for delta divergence. Like right here, off of yesterday's close, we're making lower lows from about a half hour ago, but the delta is higher. The delta right here is higher than the delta back here, even though the price is lower. And we're right at some key levels, yesterday's close and this previous day point of control. And we get a very nice bounce right up to this next key level. And if you've got the Ultimate POC in the mix, I'm looking for when point of control is drawn up into these top wicks for potential trap traders looking to maybe take a short. And I'm looking for when point of control is drawn down into these bottom wicks, looking for potential reversals to the long side. But this is about as basic of a chart setup that I could possibly fathom making. I know there are ways to trade even simpler, but it's just never been something that's stuck with me. There's just too many different factors that I'm interested in taking into consideration before I place a trade. So this would be about as basic as I could get. Been doing a little trading in the London session here. You can see the Heikin Ashi's just been green, green, green on the 5-minute charts and the 1-minute chart and the 60-minute. We had a red candle here, but no follow through, never broke lower. Here we got another red candle. Now we're breaking lower. We're getting a little bit of follow through. A little bit of negative delta trying to creep in. Had some single bar divergence on this 5-minute candle. We broke above the high of the divergent candle. Nice move up. Some more single bar divergence. You can see by the white outline. Broke above the high of the single bar divergent candle. Nice move up. With the single bar divergence, if I am going to take a particular single bar divergent candle, I'm looking for a breakout above the high or below the low. I don't take the breakout of every single bar divergent candle, but it's something that I factor into my trading decisions. You can see we've got a nice pullback now. After this red Heikin Ashi candle formed, we broke lower. On the 5-minute chart, we had some nice top wicks. We had point of control up into these wicks. And we had our first 5-minute negative delta on this candle right here. I just signed in for the late morning New York session. It's a little bit after 11. We came down to this big cluster of key levels. We've got the pivot point. We've got yesterday's close here. Rejected right off of this level. Up over 20 points now. Looks like a pretty mighty sell-off so far this morning. I just got into a short. Got my full 10 points. We closed back under the 20 SMA. We had a red Heikin Ashi candle. We had point of control drawn up to the top of this candle here. I went for a short, looking for it to retest the lows right here. Maybe try to break them. We just made it all the way down to this previous day VWAP close. This blue dashed line here. We just bounced up over 10 points. I just got into another short for a few reasons. One, we're starting to break through this big cluster at key levels. And then there's just really nothing in the way here. You can see it on the 1-minute chart too. This big cluster, breaking lower. Nothing left in the way until yesterday's New York Open. We had the Heikin Ashi turning red. We had a tiny little body with a pretty big top wick. We're wicking right off of yesterday's point of control. We're closing below this previous day VWAP. I got in short. I think I got 7 points. It's dropped over 15 points from where I got in. The other reason was this 5-minute candle. Just a bunch of continued negative delta. So when I got in on this candle, this was the previous 5-minute candle with the big negative delta. I was looking for a continuation. The big top wick on this 5-minute candle was starting to form. So taking all those things into consideration, got into another short there. Up about 150 on the two accounts. I've just been trading the micros today, either 1 or 2 micros at a time. And I even traded the ES last night. I just got into another short. We broke below this next key level, and now there's nothing in the way until yesterday's low and S1. We got this little pullback, and then because of time of day, just turned 11:30, I went for another short. I feel like we're probably going to make the continuation back down to test yesterday's low. I got my full 10-point target pretty quick. I just got into another short, this time for only 5 points. So we had a lot of positive delta coming in on this bounce candle, but nothing to overpower the amount of negative delta that had been coming in during this pretty epic down move. However, on this candle, we get some more strong positive delta right here. So I was looking for it to push up a little bit after this candle. When we broke higher, we did push up about 10 points. I didn't think it was going to get past this cluster. When we came up to this previous day VWAP close on the 5-minute, I went in for a little bounce trade short, just looking for 5 points, but it just dropped down about 20. We're still red on the Heikin Ashi on the higher time frames, the 5-minute charts and the 60-minute chart. A lot of different things that I'm factoring in on pretty much every trade. I just got into another short. We had a red Heikin Ashi candle close below the 20, and then we pulled back up to the 20. When we pulled back up to the 20, I got into a short. It didn't break as quickly as I wanted to. When it started hovering around the yesterday's New York Open, I got out for 4.5 or 5 points. Looks like it's trying to drop a little bit lower. But when things aren't going in my favor, or if I see a possibility for it to possibly change direction, then I get out of the trade. I'm not waiting for it to hit any kind of stop loss if I see a shift in the markets where my viewpoint is changing. I do not use tight stops on the NQ unless I'm moving my stop down to protect some profits that I already have. But otherwise, I'm just paying attention to the current market conditions, and I'm thinking to myself constantly, is the market still favoring the direction that I chose? And if that changes, I get out. I do have protective stop losses that are usually behind key levels, but I very rarely ever let anything go to a full stop. Looks like we're about to come down and test yesterday's low at some point here. We just got a rejection off of the yesterday's low area. I tried to get a little bounce trade in there. I got a bad fill. It came back up to the 50 level. I hopped out just for a couple points. Wasn't feeling super confident about it, but there we go. Could have easily got my full 10 points there. Just grabbed another short. We had a very strong pullback after we tested the yesterday's low area. Tried to break out above the 20. We were right at yesterday's New York Open. I went for a little short, looking for a retest back to the 20 SMA on the 1 minute. We got the pullback right back to the 20 and got 5 or 6 points there. Now we got a lot of strong delta coming in. Looks like we might try to push a little bit higher. I think it's going to have a hard time with this mighty big cluster of key levels up here. So like I was mentioning earlier, I thought it was going to have a very hard time. This big cluster of key levels. You can see how long it's been lingering in this cluster, just rejecting off all of these levels. Finally made it up to yesterday's open, which is also around the 20 SMA on the 5 minute. And we've been getting a nice pullback here. When we closed back below the 20 SMA with the red Heikin Ashi candle, got into a little short there. Up 250 on each of the accounts now. I think I'm going to call it a day there. I've got some other things to do. But I wanted to show you this basic chart setup in live action using the Heikin Ashi, the delta, and the key levels. With a little bit of help from the point of control, then I'm always using my favorite moving averages and VWAP. But this is how I do it. I hope you got some good ideas for your own trading. There are links to all of the indicators in the description. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Anyone that's out there using code MonkeyMan is absolutely amazing. Apex, Take Profit Trader, Tradeify, TradeDay, NINZA Indicators. Code MonkeyMan will get you the best price, and you help to support the work that I do on this channel, which is greatly appreciated. I had started to offer some templates for these setups, but I quickly changed my mind. I've just never been into the templates. I'm always wanting to change things, add things. It just feels like I'm going to open up a can of worms that it's just not going to be beneficial in the long run. There's really a true joy in learning how the indicators work and the different settings, and knowing how the different settings affect the charts versus just having some kind of plug and play system. It's just like trading. There's really no simple shortcut. You gain so much more confidence when you really know what's going on behind the scenes more. So I feel like it's the same thing with the indicators. The more you know about the indicators that you're using, and the more you have personalized your own charts, I feel like that's going to build way more confidence in trading. That's how it's been for me with my trading. So that's kind of where I stand on the templates for the moment. So here are the chart settings for the 1 minute chart. I've got a 250 SMA, a 20 SMA. I've got the ultimate delta on the chart, levels 100, 200, and 300. This is in per bar mode. Don't need those delta waves on. I've got the wick color set to white so I can see it on the black background. Then I've got an input series of the regular NQ. I've also got another instance of the MMT ultimate delta on the chart. This is just painting the single bar divergence outlines. I've got the ultimate POC on the chart, width of 4. I've got the ultimate VWAP on the chart with the previous session's VWAPs activated. I've got the key levels on the chart. For range 1, I've got the 15-minute opening range, but I'm just showing the center. For range 2, these are my pre-market times, 7:30 to 9:15. I've got the high, center, and low activated. I've got the pivots on here, the built-in pivots. And then I've got the Heikin Ashi with just the Heikin Ashi trend activated, default trend change strength of 1. It's painting the bars and the outline. And this is calculating on each tick, so I can see the Heikin Ashi coming in live in real time, intrabar. For the 5-minute charts, I just changed the 250 SMA to a 50, and I changed the ultimate delta into cumulative mode, and I did not apply the level colors, so it's just red and green. Other than that, everything is the same. If you want to see more about how I'm trading in the live markets, there are a ton of videos on the channel showcasing my live trades where I go over my thought process and everything that I'm looking for on each trade. Highly recommend checking some of those out. Best of luck in your trading. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.